Go ahead and say the comment. I mean,
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Age is Not a Factor Live. And today I have a very special guest. She is a speaker and an author and an entrepreneur. After 33 years of being an educator, most people would have been ready to slow down, take a break. Not Elena. And her name is Elena Torcelano. I wanted to say that with an Italian accent almost, just a Torcelano. And she is also a former Toyota sales representative, and she has made it her mission to negotiate the best deals so they can walk into the dealership with confidence and come out with the car of their dreams. Elena, how long have you been doing this?
Well, I did it for about maybe a half a year. It was like 6 months I was doing it. I was in two different dealerships. I was in Dayton Toyota, and then I was in a Ford dealership. So I had two different experiences with car buying and in the car industry. So, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot within that time. So, I'm here to empower women to go out there and get the car of your dreams and not be intimidated. I mean, let's think about this. Something happens and you get in an accident and you don't have a car. So now you have to go out and buy one. Or, you've had a car for a long time and it just died. Whatever it is, you're always going to need a car. So how do you feel? Like, why don't you give us some comments about how we feel like when we walk into a dealership, like even the whole process, like, oh my God, I have to go buy a car. Like, how do you feel? Does anybody want to give any comments?
Well, I can say without a doubt that, my husband, I think I bought my first actual car when I was but I had my father with me, so I guess that doesn't count. But ever since then, my husband is the one that has been with me and negotiated the cars and things like that. So I have no idea, what it's like.
And that's basically what it's like. A lot of people, what they did, overwhelmed. Okay, Brenda says she's overwhelmed. Absolutely. That is a great adjective to describe how you feel, overwhelmed, because there's so much stuff coming at you and you don't know what to do, But basically, a lot of the people say that, they are very intimidated too, and there's a lot of anxiety with it. And so actually, I found this article, which I thought was really interesting, on Edmunds.com. Like, if you really want to know a lot about car buying and what to do, Edmunds.com is really great. It's called The Gender Gap: Do Dealerships Treat Women Differently? Well, they did a study, okay? And this has been going on. This has been going on for years, that women, are treated differently when they go into the dealership, because, we are emotional beings, and we play on emotions. Like men are more practical, right? They go in there, tell me what I got to do. This is what I got to pay, and I'm out the door. But women get all tied up about, do they like the car and the color and all that? And they don't think about the practicality of it. They're more emotional. So this particular, study that they did, I'm going to read this to you. It's really quick, but women either buy.
Take your time. We got plenty of time.
Oh, okay. So I want to read this because it's important. Women either buy or influence the purchase of 85% of all new cars and trucks sold in the United States today. 85%. And automakers spend millions of dollars annually in advertising and marketing targeted specifically to women. If this is true, why do women hate the car buying experience so much? Okay. And then it has here that women have said in this study that they're uncomfortable going into the dealership and negotiating the purchase of a car without the help of a friend or a relative, because we want to know the perspective on what's going on. We don't want to get ripped off. But let me tell you something. This was a study that they did with 200 Chicago car dealerships. And it was really interesting. You can read this article. Like I said, it's The Gender Gap: Do Dealerships Treat Women Differently? May 5th, 2009. And even though it's an older article, it still applies today. You know, you can read the article and get more information. But it was really interesting how they had a woman go in to purchase a car, and she got, you know, they didn't come to her right away. The salesman wanted to put her in another car that she didn't even want. He wasn't listening to anything that she was saying. They were quoting her prices that were higher. And then the man came in and came right up to him and, you know, what are you looking for? You know, and, you know, talking about more how the car, you know, the car mileage and the gas mileage, all those practical things. But the woman got all this run around, like, we'll put you in the car, or actually she was looking for a manual and he was trying to put her into an automatic. And she kept saying, right. And she kept saying, I want a manual. And he kept saying, well, it only comes in one color. She said, well, I want like a champagne color or whatever. And then he looks around and he says to the guy, hey, what color is that manual that we have? And he goes, oh, blue. Well, you just told her that it only comes in one color. You know what I mean? So basically, you know, we have to really become empowered and really have, you know, the facts and the figures before we get into the dealership. So I'm going to just tell you really briefly how I got into this car thing. Because when I was a little girl, I used to like to play with dump trucks and, you know, fire engines and cars. I wasn't really into, you know, dolls. I had one doll called Chatty Cathy. You pulled the string. I don't know if anybody remembers her, but that's what I had. And I got really interested in, you know, in cars. But I used to go out to the car dealership with my mother because my mother used to negotiate all the car. When we went to buy a car, she was a negotiator. And my dad would sit there and go, okay, whatever, you know. And so she would negotiate, and she was teaching me things like, you know, when you negotiate a deal, like you never tell them you have a trade until the last minute. And then you got one way you negotiate, and then you put the trade in, and now the numbers all change. So there was so my mother had influenced me a lot on that. And then when I was in 7th grade, I got to take, you know, like they had these little courses. You could take a couple weeks of, you know, auto body. I was the only girl in auto body. I was in auto mechanics. I was the only girl in auto mechanics. You know, we did brakes and we did, you know, oil. We changed oil, and I was sanding down the body of the car. It was a lot of fun. So, but I really got into, you know, cars, and, you know, people would, you know, I would read like Car and Driver magazine, you know, and I could see a car coming down the road. I know what it was just by the back of the car. So I got really interested in cars. And so at one point, I was working a job and it didn't work out, and I lost it. And so I said, well, you know what? I always like cars, so I think I should go sell some cars. So I took my resume over to the car dealership, and it was the blizzard of 1996. And the guy was like, well, if you're as good as your resume, you're hired. You can start right after, you know, the 1st of January. I said, okay, why not? So I went in there, and it was like, you know, a whole new experience for me. I was the only woman there. And I worked 12 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. Monday, 12 hours, Tuesday, 12 hours. And then Wednesday, I had the day off. Everybody got their day off, and the guys would go get their haircuts. You know, and then Thursday we worked 12 hours, and Friday was like 12 hours. And then Saturday we worked 9 to 6. Well, it's not allowed to be, car dealerships are not allowed to be open on Sunday. So Sunday, of course, but that's when people go out and look. They go on the car, you know, in the lots, and they look around and see what they want to get. So for the week they can make a decision. So that's how I got into all that. And so now I'm going to teach you some things that you'll need to know to get the greatest deal and walk out of there a happy camper. And
awesome. Yeah.
So the first thing I want to tell you is that you have to make a decision. Like, what do you want to buy? What kind of car? What kind of make? What kind of model? What kind of trim? You need to you have to decide, right? And so when you decide, that's the decisions. Okay, I'm going to go buy a Honda Accord. I'm looking for these particular features in there. And so know what you want, because when you walk in a dealership, the first thing you're going to do is say, what are you looking for? And if you don't know what you're looking for, they're going to put you in 50 million different directions. And then you don't even know. And you have to know your budget. How much are you going to spend when you go in there? So, and what car are you looking for? So you always make the decision first. And then when you go in there, the most important thing to understand is that once they find the car that you like, that then you have to test drive the car. You have to take the car out and test drive it. I don't believe in anything buying a car without test driving it. So make sure you go in there and you test drive it. As you're test driving it, I want you to feel the car. How does the car feel to you? Is it comfortable? You're going to be driving this car for a long time. So is it comfortable? How is the dashboard? Is that comfortable to you too? And so you just got to get a feel for the car and how you're going to feel driving this car, because you're probably going to have it for a while. The payments are like 6-7 years now. So,
yeah.
They spread them out, and
oh my God, I didn't know that. 7 years?
Yeah, you can go 6 years on a payment, 5-6 years now. See, because, the more you spread it out, the less your payment's going to be, right?
Right.
And so in this economy, but here's the problem. You purchase a car for $24,000, right? And then you have a loan. And then 6 years later, your car's worth nothing.
Exactly.
Your car is worth absolutely nothing. I mean, and so when you go to sell it or trade it in, you have nothing. So you really don't want to do a long loan if you don't have to. You know what I mean? So, but it's important to understand what you want. So the decision is the most important thing. And if you want to bring somebody with you because you're so, anxiety ridden or whatever, that's fine, because, sometimes, talking to another person will help you. So I have gone out and, actually negotiated like 10 or 15, deals with my friends. I say, you want to go out? When do you want to go? I'll go with you. And I negotiate it for them. And, and the thing about when you go buy a car, sometimes you need to bring your lunch, or you might not even eat your dinner because people are there hours and hours and hours. But see, I'm not there hours and hours and hours. I go in there and within a couple of hours we're out, not even, and the car is like in their hands. So, because I know exactly what we need to do. We don't need to sit there and haggle forever and ever once you know the tricks of the trade. So anyway, after you pick the car out and you see the one that you want, then you go in and you sit down and you start talking about numbers. Now, what they're going to do is a lot of people go and they got their Kelley Blue Book, and that's where they say, oh, my car's worth $15,000. Well, I got a news flash for you. The car industry doesn't use Kelley Blue Book, okay? They use something called GALVs. And GALVs is what the car dealership use. So, for instance, they're going to go by a different criteria with GALVs. They're going to go by how many miles you have on your car and all of that. And so here you are thinking you're going to get $15,000 for your car, and they're only going to give you maybe 12. So that's going to be a difference, like how are you going to make up that money? What am I going to do as far as my budget's concerned? So that's a newsflash. And so GALVs is what they use. And so you start looking at the numbers, and then they're going to ask you a very important question, and they're going to ask you this question. They're going to say, so how much do you pay on your car now? Like, that's a starting point. So they want to know how much you're paying now, because they're going to try to get you, they're going to try to get you maybe $50 over, $100 over, and they're going to say, oh, look, you got a brand new car. It's only $50. Maybe you need to bag your lunch, every other day, or, stop a cup of coffee once in a while to get, to make up the difference or whatever. But so you don't want to really like tell them what your payment is. Just tell them you have an idea, you're not real where you want to be with the new car. So try not to divulge that payment, And also, it's really important to know that the sticker price. Okay, let's talk about the sticker price, because people walk into that dealership and they see this car and there's their sticker price. And all a sticker price is, it is the manufactured suggested retail price. Did you hear what I said? Suggested. It doesn't mean you have to purchase it, and you never, ever purchase a car at sticker price. Never. Okay. So it's really important to know how to read the sticker too, what you're getting on the sticker. And it doesn't include the taxes. It does include what they call destination charge on there. That's the shipping of the car to the dealership. Okay. So you need to read that. And in some of my workshops, some of the workshops that I do that you can, sign up for, I teach you how to read the sticker price, And so anyway, when you get that manufacturer price, listen, this is not the price that you're going to pay. All right. So I'm going to give you an example. Here is an example. What you always want to do is you want to go at the end of the month, because the end of the month is the best time for you to purchase a car, because they have to pay bank insurance on all the cars. And that's why when you go into a car dealership, they will say to you, oh, are you going to take it today? Because you're at the end of the month, okay? And you're like, oh, I don't know. I just came in here to look around, and I'm not really sure. Oh, and by the way, sometimes when I was, selling cars, you'd have some people that would come in and they just wanted to waste time between going to the movies or whatever, and they weren't really serious. So the people would, the salespeople would say, oh, they're just tire kickers. They're not here they're just wasting our time or whatever. So, but anyway, you gotta, with the sticker, you just got to be really, really, you don't pay sticker price. So you go in there and you basically say, okay, they're going to be showing you the numbers, right? They're going to show you the numbers. And they're going to say, oh, well, this is all we can do. We just reduced it 1,000. I mean, there's really nothing that we can do here. This is rock bottom. And so you're going to say, well, listen, look, I need to see the invoice. Okay, so everybody has the right to see the invoice of how much the dealership purchased the car for, okay, which is really important. So the sticker price says maybe, I don't know, say $1,699, right? $16,999. And usually, the invoice is going to be lower, but there's a markup of 2 to 5% on these cars, okay? Now, if the car's in demand and you can't get it, you're going to have to pay a higher price. But if this car is not in demand, it's been around a while, you're going to be able to negotiate better. But when it just comes out in the market and it's a new car, you're not going to have much leadway usually. So anyway, and they're going to say, oh, well, we bought it for this price, well, here's another news flash. Let's say the car's $25,000. And I don't know if you ever heard of something called holdback, where the manufacturer pays the dealership money on each car. So what happens is, if it's $25,000, right, and the holdback is 1 to 3%, let's say it's 3%, that's $750 that the dealership made on that car, even if they sell it to you for the invoice price. So whatever the invoice price is, you might want to throw them $300 to $500 over, just so they make a little bit of profit. So you always go by what the invoice price is. That's where you start. And so, with all the haggling, you don't have to do that with all the sticker price. Just go right to the invoice and tell them what you want to do there. Now, with so you're going to take that invoice, and then you'll say, I'll give you $300 to $500 over that. So, and they might say, oh, we can't do that, or whatever it is. So remember, you have the power to walk out of there. You have the power to say, this is not working anymore. You're not within my budget. I'm not going to be able to do this. And you have the right to go somewhere else. And, you really should shop around. You should have other dealerships that you go to. And then what you need to do? Go to the dealerships and take out a notepad and start writing down all the things that you've seen and all the things that they told you. And then you have something to compare when you go to these different dealerships. So you want to always be educated. You want to get a lot of education on your own. You want to research. That's the most important thing. So now you're thinking, okay, wow, this is what this is what I'm going to buy the car for. Now we have to look at the payments. So, but what am I going to do? Am I going to lease this car now, I'm thinking, or am I going to buy this car? So now I'm looking at, first of all, you have to know that if you are going to lease a car, then you have to be a certain kind of candidate. Most people want to lease a car that like they like a change every couple of years. They want to get a new car, or they're in business and they want to lease a car there, and then they can use the miles, towards their business. But the thing is, with a lease, you never want to go over like between 12 and 15,000 miles a year. So if you're one of those people that drive between 12 and 15,000 miles a year, then you're better off for a lease. Also, if you have good credit, you're more apt to be able to lease. And so let's talk about a lease, because a lot of people just don't want to buy, they want to lease. Now, in my experience, older people seem to want to buy. When they came into the dealership, they were like, oh, no, I don't want to lease, I want to buy. And that was fine. Okay. So you have two types of leases. All right. The first lease is called an open-end lease. Now, remember that you don't want your lease to be less than 2 years, because then you're going to be paying more money. So the thing about leasing is, if you don't have a big down payment, it's good to lease, because then you can do like a couple $100 down or whatever. Actually, it's like one payment plus $50. All right. So you don't have to do, you don't have to do a whole lot of money down if you don't have it, right? So you have an open-ended lease. This lease says that at the end of the lease, there's a residual and a fair market value. So whatever the residual and fair market value is, you would have to pay in a balloon payment at the end. Okay. So you try to stay away from open-ended leases. Now, close-ended leases are great because it's a walkaway lease. I can bring back the car. I can say, thank you very much. I enjoyed it. Here's the keys. I can purchase the car if I want to. I can refinance the car. There's a lot of different options, but I am not obligated to pay anything except the wear and tear on the car. So let's say you had an accident and you took back the leased car, then they're going to determine like what you have to pay them for that particular problem there. Or if you go over mileage. So let's say in your lease you have 12 to 15,000 miles built in, and you put in 17,000. So now you're going to have to pay 20 cents per mile, so many hundreds of miles over the lease. You know what I mean? So that would be something there. So that's why you have to always think about what you want to do with the lease. Then what happens is, so if let's talk about buying a new car, right? So you're buying a new car, and now you're thinking, oh, you know what? I have to get a loan. Well, guess what? It's better for you to get your own financing. So do you have a credit union you can go to? Credit unions are great. They have good, requirements, if you belong there, then you get a break. So credit unions are really good. So sometimes,
I've heard that before.
Yeah. So sometimes, and also if you have the loan in advance, you can, you know how much the price of the car is. You know how much it's going to cost you. You know what I mean? But if you go with the payments, and the dealership is always going to try to get you to finance with them. Like I'm with Honda, okay, Honda Financial. But if you already have that credit loan and you have that loan and you walk in there and you know the percentage rate and all that, that's going to be awesome. So that's going to be something that you need to think about. Do I want to get my own financing versus, the dealership's financing? So that's really important to know. A used car, okay? A used car is, you can't shop a used car. It's there, okay? So usually a used car, there's going to be more leeway there too, because they purchased it for a certain price and then they put it on the market for, they sell it for a certain price. So there's more of a, whatever's in there, a couple thousand or whatever, you'd be able to negotiate with them. Of course, they're going to tell you, oh, look, we've gone down $1,000. We really can't do it anymore. So you don't listen to those words, okay? Because you want to push it. I mean, you want to walk out of there with the best deal, because guess who's paying the payment? They're not paying the payment. You're paying the payment. So if you're not comfortable with an extra $20, $30, $40 a month, then you're paying the payment. So you have to know what your budget is, because it's really important. So with a used car, beware. Your interest rate's going to be higher. All right. So you want to make sure that your interest rate, if you're going to buy a used car, and you're going to finance it, and depends how much money you put down on it. So the more money you put down on the car, the less your payments are always going to be. And now I want to talk about something that's really very, very important, and that is gap insurance. Have you ever heard of gap insurance?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, gap insurance is guaranteed auto protection. Now, when you purchase a car, you always want to have gap. Let's say, for instance, your car gets totaled, all right, and you owe approximately, let's say you just bought the car and you bought it for, the loan is $20,000 and they total it out for $15,000 or whatever, right? Okay. There's a $5,000 gap there, right? You're going to be responsible for that if you don't have gap insurance.
Wow.
And if they steal, your car gets stolen, and you got to continue paying the payments, you're going to be responsible for that too. So that's a protection on your side. So they're going to say to you, gap insurance is going to be another $15, $20 in your payment. Okay, get the gap insurance. You need that. You never know what's going to happen. So gap insurance is really important. So make sure in your payment that you have gap.
Out of all the cars that we bought, I've never heard one of them mention that. Not a single one about adding the gap.
Yeah, and they won't tell you. I mean, unless you know about it. So gap is really important because it's going to save you money at the end if those things do happen to you. You're going to be responsible. So and you can't get gap anywhere else but the dealership. So always ask about gap. Yeah, see that? You didn't even know, right?
No.
Yeah.
I just assumed that once we had insurance that I mean, let's face it, when you drive off with especially a brand new car or maybe a year or so, like say it's 2018, you get a 2016, don't you still have to have full coverage? Or no?
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to have full coverage. You're talking about what? You're talking about your insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, you can get. Well, now see, gap. I think gap is basically more for newer cars.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, so you're going to need more. You're going to need gap on newer cars.
Okay.
Because I don't think I did gap on used cars. So the newer cars, you're going to need it because, your loan is going to be higher too. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you want to talk about gap. Always mention gap. Okay. So how much is gap going to cost me? Because that is really important. So remember GAP, like the Gap, like the store,
Right.
So, but it's really important that you do have gap. And of course, now remember, there's another thing you have to remember. When you go to the car dealership and then you pick out the car and then guess what you have to do? You have to call your insurance company and you got to find out, okay, now I got a new car. How much more is my insurance going to be? Did I figure that out when I was purchasing this car? Is it going to go up? Of course it's going to go up. It's a new car, right?
Right.
So you're going to have to do that too. You're going to have to deal with that. And if you know exactly what you're going to get, you can actually call your insurance agent before you even, get the car or whatever and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about purchasing, and these are the features. They have the safety features, the airbags and all of that. What is my insurance payment going to be? A lot of people don't think about that, and then, yeah.
Does it also depend on what type of car you're buying? Like say a sports car, SUV, do they still do that? I know that used to be a thing, they considered it to be higher.
Yeah, depending on the type of car that you have, like a sports car or, any kind of car, like a more of a leisure car, where you'd be riskier, like a sports car, right? SUV could be, it depends, right? On the car. But yeah, definitely you have to take all these things in consideration, and because like I said, it's, you have to know what you're doing. I mean, you're going to get into this payment for, 4, 5, 6 years and, it's, are you going to be able to afford it? And, things can change in your life, too, so, and yeah, right. I mean, you could be married one time, and, and have your car and then the next minute you could be divorced and now you don't have the income that you had, or, and now, oh my God, and now I have to make this payment, right?
Right.
And so you have to be aware of what's going on there. So, and let's talk about a trade, okay? Because that's an interesting aspect. First of all, if you can sell your car on your own, go right ahead and sell your car, all right? And get the money and go to the dealership. Because what happens with the trade is always negotiate the deal without the trade, okay? And see where you are. And then say, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll decide I do want to trade my car. So what are we going to do there? But what's going to happen is they're going to start playing with numbers. And then, the trade totally changes the dynamics of the deal, and you think you're going to be getting all this money for your trade. And then they're saying, well, you've got a problem with this in your car, and you got a problem with that in your car, and all of that. And so it's really important to understand, sell the car on your own, because you're going to get a lot more money if you sell your car on your own and then go over there with the money, so, but don't, if you don't have to trade, don't do it, and just do it on your own. That's just a word of advice there.
So you're saying like put it in the newspaper, or I think you can do it online, and get the money that you think you deserve for the car.
Right.
And I think most people, I know my husband, like, if he's going to buy like a second vehicle for his work and he doesn't want to spend a lot of money, if he goes to the person that's actually selling it, like just say me or you, right?
Right.
He will look at the blue book, so.
Yeah. And you get an idea, right? Get an idea, because remember, we're consumers, so we look at the blue book. So blue book, is okay. But like I said, the gals, so they're going to be different, than us. So, but you know how much your car's worth. You can go online. You can go on a lot of those, websites like Car Guru, and all that. And and let me go back to the used car, okay? Because it's really.
Okay, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, before I forget. Oh, make sure that you take that used car to a mechanic before you purchase that car. And you have the right to take that car to a mechanic, because you are going to purchase it and you need to know what's wrong with it. Lots of times, it could be a major thing. And the mechanic will say, like, stay away from this car. That actually happened to me one time. I was going to buy a car, and they said, no, don't buy this car because of that situation. What was going on? I think something with the transmission, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times, or cars could be in a flood and you don't know about it,
Right.
So that thing is good to do Carfax too. Make sure you check out your car if you're going to get a used car, and check out like what the history of the car is, and so that's really important too. So go ahead.
They will actually let you take the used car. What do they let you take it for a day or
for a few hours or whatever a day? If they want, if they want you to purchase the car, Barbara, I think they're going to let you do it. Yeah. So, have you ever done that? I mean, have bought a used car and then anybody out there, and then you took it to the mechanic, but like I said, you're purchasing a used car. Now they have those certified cars now. How they check all the points, and then you can purchase them. And they have a limited warranty. They have a limited warranty. So that's important. But so then if you ever like feel like when you're doing these numbers with the salesperson and you really feel like intimidated, or you just feel like you're stressed out, you could just take a break and walk and say, listen, I really got to get away from here right now. I just want to take a walk or go get some, water or whatever. Like at the Honda dealership where I take all my people in New Jersey, when I was living in New Jersey, they would give us water, and, there's a snack bar there, and, do what you need to do. It was awesome. I mean, it had these big TVs there and a computer room and a snack bar. I mean, it was awesome. I loved going there, and waiting for my car to get serviced and having my computer, it was really, and well, speaking of that, since I'm on that, make sure that when you purchase your car that you know about the servicing of the car, like the department, like, who is the manager, What hours are they open? What do they service? Like we have an express service, like where I was, and you could take your car on Saturday at a certain time and get that done. When I got my car at Hamilton Honda, which is awesome, they had oil changes for the life of the car as long as you had it free, and then you could get your car washed 7 days a week with their car wash. So
Oh,
yeah, is that cool?
right.
And so find out, what they're going to give you, as far as service is concerned, and talk to the manager, like while you're there, even while you're purchasing this car, because you need to know, is this like you're going to be taking this, there. So you want to meet the people and know the people. And so,
Yeah, and if there's a problem, you want to make sure that they have, I don't know if they still do that, but if they have like a rental place available where you can use the car, do they still do that?
Yeah, yes. As a matter of fact, they will do that. If they have a cars available, they will do that for you. Depending upon, actually where I was, where I was going, they had a courtesy van that would take you wherever you needed to go within so many miles.
Oh, wow.
While your car's being serviced. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wasn't that awesome?
Yeah, so let me share your site. Let me see if I can bring it up here. I think I have it. Is that working? Oh, no. Okay. Oh, share. So, bear with me while I do this here.
No problem.
Oh, no. Oh, there. Well, okay, hang on. Okay. Sorry about that. There we go. Nope, it didn't work. Oh, darn. Okay. Says Chrome. Share. No, it's not letting me do it. Oop.
Technology.
There we go. Okay.
All right.
Bear with me there. I just wanted everybody to see it. I'm trying to drop myself down here. Okay. I hope everybody can see that. Uh-oh. You there?
Uh-oh.
Okay, there you are.
I mean, it's okay.
I haven't done this too much, as you can tell. I'm still learning.
That's okay. Hey, you know what? Trial and error, right? That's the only thing we can do.
Right.
Keep trying. Yep.
Okay, there. That should be big enough here. And let's see. That's going to show. So there is her site, you guys. Let's see if I'm getting it to move right. I am. And you really want to go check it out because she really offers a lot. See this? She has live and virtual trainings. Are you able to see that on the screen?
I see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She also has a couple of podcasts as well. Now, do you have a podcasting site, or you just do this, through speaking engagements?
Yeah, I do. They can go to my website for upcoming workshops that I do. And also if they want to book me as a speaker or an event that they want me to do, that's fine there. So you can go to my website and see that. That's on there, and you can just book it right on the website, and then I'll get in touch with them. Yeah. So I just love to speak, so and I empower people and to give them the information that they need to get the best deal. It's all about getting the best deal, because they're making money. and you want to get the best deal.
Right.
And then, when you're happy, then what are you going to do? You're going to refer people to them. And that's what I did with the dealership I was working with, that I would just say, hey, everybody, hey, listen, I can take you there. What do you want to do? I mean, once you know how to purchase a car, you can go to any dealership. It's not like, a particular dealership. Yeah.
And that is so worth it. That's why I for the fact of empowering women and having them have confidence when they walk in. I think that's amazing. I was just like, I can't wait to have her on because, and it's true, you have not slowed down at all. And, age is not a factor. That's what we're about. 90% of the time, that's what we're about is age is not a factor. And to keep going and to keep progressing. And you've certainly done that,
I try. But yeah.
Do you have the CDs and books that they can purchase anywhere, or is it just speaking engagement?
Well, speaking, and I'm going to be coming, like I said, I'm going to have the upcoming workshops where we can get into more detail about, like the sticker price and reading the sticker and, everything, more details, that if you're really interested in getting to get more information about it, definitely, the speaking is definitely, and I'm going to be doing online workshops, okay, which is great. Online workshops.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, online workshops.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that it was going to be online because that would be so great for, men, women and men, I would imagine, but mostly women because,
right.
We do get taken advantage of in a lot of areas when it comes to that kind of stuff. Even when you take it to a mechanic, they'll try to tell you, like, okay, let's say you're outside the dealership, okay, and you go into a regular mechanic and they're going to go, oh, well, you only have this, you have this, but you also have this, and this wrong with your car. So it's going to cost you, let's see, $2,000,
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, well, I got to go pay $2,000. No, you're going to go and shop around to another mechanic and you're going to see what you need to do. But here's really an interesting thing. When I was getting my car serviced, the guy said to me, oh, your cabin filter's dirty. You really got to take care of it, because that's the cabin filter takes care of all the air pollution in your car, and so if you have allergies, you need to change the cabin filter. So I'm like, oh, okay. So tell me where the cabin filter is. Cause I'm like into cars, right? He goes, oh, it's right here. He goes into the glove compartment, pulls something down, pulls out the cabin filter, puts another one in and says, it's $75.
Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me? $75? I can go to Pep Boys, buy the cabin filter, open up the glove compartment and put it in myself. See, and then when I was checking out, getting my car and everything, they said the same thing to the same woman. I mean, the lady next to me, they said, oh man, your cabin filter is dirty right now. We have to take care of it, and she's like, oh, okay. And the guy goes, okay, it's $75. Like, okay, no, you need to learn about the cabin filter and you need to do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, because that was like 2 seconds. I couldn't believe what he did. I mean, if it was more complicated, I could understand that. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, so you're exactly right. And they will take advantage of us not only in purchasing the cars, but then also in servicing the cars. Because what do we know? What do we know how much an air conditioner costs, right? Or an oil pump, or when the timing belts went years and years ago, they had timing belts, and your car just stopped,
right?
And you're talking about $1,000 for a timing belt, after 60,000 miles, So that's why we have to become educated. We have to become a community of women who are empowering one another, lifting one another, and knowing that when you go into that dealership that you are in control of that and that you can walk away at any time you want. And it's okay to walk away. It's a
Right.
hit somewhere else because you just want to get the best deal. And that's what you need to do. So, but anyway, I want to go on. So once you get all the figures together and you have decided on this, on this payment that you're going to do, then they're going to take you into the financial manager's office. Okay. And what are they going to do at the fund? They're going to tell you, you're going to read the contract. Make sure you read the contract. Okay. You're going to be signing a lot of papers. Make sure you read everything and you read it carefully, how much the payment's going to be, how much the interest. But the thing is that when they take you into the financial manager, he's going to have all of that information. And then they're going to sit there and say to you, well, you really need to do this with your car and, protect your car in this way. And this package, etching that you're going to need and all these different packages that they're going to have, Now, I do believe in extended warranties only because if you drive your car, you only have like a certain 3 years, 36,000 mile warranty. I do believe in extended warranties. That is worth the money if you're going to put money into anything.
Oh, absolutely.
You agree, right? I mean, how many people agree with that? We can have some comments, but you definitely need that. And also, even if you lease a car, did you know you can put extra miles in your lease? Because when I had a car one time, I put 122,000 miles on actually right now, not the car that I was leasing, but the one I bought now. I put 122,000 miles into my agreement. So I bought an extended warranty. Mm-hmm. So now, and I'm at 60,000 now, and I have 3 years on my car. Okay, and I have another 30 some payments to pay on it. So, like I said, at the end of 30 some payments, my car will be worth nothing. Like it's probably worth $10,000 right now. Because remember, everybody has to remember this: a car is not an asset. Once you take it off the lot, you're going to lose $10,000 at least. It is a liability. It is not an asset. So, if you buy a car, that's why a lot of people buy used cars.
Yeah.
Definitely, you right. Have a lot of.
I've heard that where as soon as you drive it off the lot, it depreciates.
Right.
I mean,
right.
It's like bottoms out. It's not like when you buy a home.
Right.
When you buy a home, at least you can upgrade things and possibly get more money out of it. Not a car though. I remember ours by our last payment, it was broke down. We didn't have any more warranty left on it. That was it. There went so many things wrong with it. Like all within a couple of months after our last payment. My gosh.
Right after ours. Oh my goodness. Well, let me tell you something. I had a car and it had 100,000 mile warranty on it. Right. And, at 103,000, the engine went.
Oh my gosh.
And I called them up and they said, we don't care if it's 1 mile. If it's 1 mile over, it's over. It's done. And then I had to put a $3,000 engine in it, and then I decided, you know what? I took it to the dealership and I traded it in. It even had a flat tire the week before. I put a new tire on it. And I traded it in. I got a good deal on a Honda Civic. So, yeah, I mean, but definitely, that's why warranties are really important. But you don't need all the bells and the whistles and all that other stuff that they want to talk you into. Because guess what? Every time they sell you that, they're making money. So, yeah, so, and it's really important to try to get them to throw things in, like mats or whatever you can get. Can you throw that in? I mean, look, I'm paying all this money. Can you just do that for us? For me, And so that's really important. But also, it's important that you understand the contract and that you're signing the paper and you're looking at it and anything in fine print, because when you purchase the car, the taxes are not in there. The registration is not in there. Oh, and they also have something called doc fees. Did anybody ever see that on their paperwork when they purchase a car? It's doc fees. Well, doc fees is actually a fee that the dealership charges to do paperwork.
Oh my God.
And that's the registration and it's the, the registration and the plates and all that and the paperwork. I mean, that could be anywhere from $300 to $500. And so it depends what dealership you go to. like some of them say, oh, we don't have any dock fees. And some of them may say, no, we charge, it'll say right on there, like it's on there, $300 dock fee. It's like, okay. So now you got that included in your, your payment and all that stuff. So you want to be like really, really aware of what's happening there. And that's really important.
So bottom line is to really read that contract well.
Yeah, of course they want you to sign it right away. Do you know what I mean? And
right.
But you want to read it well, and no, you're not in a hurry. I mean, usually they want to like get the car ready and prep it, and get it out the door. You know what I mean? But you still got to call your insurance company, which they'll do right there. They'll fax everything there, But when you go there, if you're really, really serious about buying this car, make sure you have the title to your old car if you are trading it in or whatever. Make sure you have your checkbook with you if you're going to put down, a deposit, and make sure you have your insurance card and everything that you need. So you have everything there. You don't have to worry about it, So if you're super serious about this is today, I'm going to get this car. I need it because I don't have a car, But so make sure you have all those things, in play. And then, and then they're going to tell you, that they're going to deliver the car and they're going to have to go prep it, and in the meantime, you'll get all the paperwork done and all of that. And make sure that you get a full tank of gas, okay, before you leave, because you should get a full tank of gas before you take the car home, they always told us that, like when you deliver the car, it's like the birth of a baby, everybody's excited, and so delivering the car is extremely important because you should be sitting down with your salesperson in the car and going through all the amenities. Like today, there's like so much technology, like, syncing the phone and doing all this. And, and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? This is like, a car, but it's like all this technology is in there. And remember the cassette players we used to have? Cassette.
Oh God, yes.
We used to have cassette players, I mean, and now with CDs, and now they're even going, right? I mean, like, and the backup cameras, now they're saying that, every car is going to have a backup camera. I love my backup camera. Now they even have the lane cameras, that are really, so if you're actually, they had that thing, like if you go over to the next lane or something, it beeps. And so it keeps you, back, so you can get back into the lane because you like, maybe if you fall asleep or something,
Yeah.
Like, there's so much technology. And that's another thing, even now mechanics, I mean, everything is, technological, and they have to put something, to figure out what's wrong with your car because in the computer. Years ago, they didn't have a computer, right? You had the mechanic going into the, looking everything out, looking to what's going on in your car. So.
Yeah, I remember the days of the 8-track,
Oh yeah, definitely.
You'd have that the actual where the 8-track went in, and you'd have it mounted to the bottom of your jacket.
Right, we had that in the trunk, I mean, like, So, by the way, when you're doing the delivery, make sure you check every single thing in that car, okay? Make sure you have no scratches. Make sure you have everything that's supposed to be in the trunk. The spare tire. Oh, by the way, some cars are not coming with spare tires today. You have to purchase them.
Oh.
Yes.
No.
So that's a news flash. My friend said I had bought a certain kind of car. I think it was a Kia, and there was no tire, no spare tire. And so she's like, I had to buy a tire. I'm like, yeah. So, so it's really important that, I mean, all these, I mean, we could go on forever, and like, I don't know if there's any questions but.
Yeah, I think we have, she's saying how you went, Bernice says how you went with her to the Honda dealer.
Yeah, we had an awesome time. That's my best friend, Bernice, from New Jersey, and we had a great time. She did not expect to buy a new car. She told me, I'm getting a used car. I said, Bernice, you need to get a new car. Treat yourself. And we got a Honda. Yeah, we got her a Honda CVS. A CVR. Yeah, Honda. We got her one of those. And so she got that, and she's been happy with it. So, yay, Bernice. I'm glad you're on, and I've had several other people that I've taken to and got really good deals. So, but because negotiating, people don't want to do that. It's like I said, intimidating and nerve wracking and takes a long time. We were there at pretty long hours, but we got her the good deal. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was important.
Well, and it's true because you don't, I think every time my husband and I went, we'd be there, God, it seemed like all day. And of course we had little ones then, and they're getting bored,
Yeah.
they want to go, and they're running around the dealership, and you're like, oh God, make it stop.
And you're trying to concentrate and see if you're getting, what's going on. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, so it could be a long thing. But if you go in there with the invoice and you know what you want and you don't play around, you could be out of there in a couple of hours,
Right.
So
Right.
that's the most important thing, knowing that. So, and then of course you need to know about car safety too.
Yes.
So yeah. So I did bring a safety emergency kit. So you should always have an emergency kit in your car. It has a flashlight in here, and I picked this one up like for $17 at Walmart. I mean, it has everything that you need here. It's got in here. It's got the let's see. It's got the flashlight in here. So you have a flashlight. See, there's a flashlight in here, and then you have a thing to, like, you have to pull anything. And then you also, my favorite, I do this all the time. I jump people. I have jumper cables. So if anybody's out on the road and they're stuck, I'll ask them, do you need a jump? I've done that a few times in like parking lots and stuff like that. One time it was really cold. This woman, she was like freezing and we were jumping her car. And then you have to take care of your tires. Make sure you have enough tire pressure. You should, and by the way, newsflash, you will not find the tire pressure on your tire. You will find it inside the door. The little sticker inside the door will tell you how much tire pressure you need for your tires. That's something I just found out and I wanted to share with you.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Wow.
So, and so there's a lot of things. And then there's that thing that you put out here, like like when you're, so you have SOS kind of thing. So that's
my God.
Yeah, I love this little kit. It's so inexpensive. It's so great. And then don't forget, please don't forget, this is the Bible. This is your manual. Does anybody read this manual? No. But then when you have a problem and you start seeing lights going on, guess what happens? Then you start looking for this manual. But always keep this manual in your glove compartment. Because it's really important to have your manual. So remember, tire pressure, okay? Make sure you check your oil, walk around your car, and have your safety kit in the car, and be proactive. So you have some kind of control when something happens. And listen, you know how you have a relationship with your body and you have symptoms and you feel things and everything, and you start with your body? Well, you need to have a relationship with your car. So if you start hearing noises like metal on metal, that's a brake problem, and if you start seeing the light come on, that could be that your gas cap is not tightened properly.
Right.
Yeah.
I found that out. Yes.
Right. Or you can have another problem with your catalytic converter. It could be a ton of different things going on in your car. So you want to be proactive and listen to your car, because if you take care of your car will take care of you. And so I do teach another workshop on safety tips. So you can sign up for the safety tip workshop and we can go into more car buying. And it's really important. So if you want to talk to me about any questions or anything like that, you can email me at ElenaT251@AOL.com, and I will, help you and answer your questions. If you want to book me for an event or a workshop, you can go to www.elenatorciello.com. And so you can, I'm here to help you answer your questions. If you want anything, just reach out to me, and I'm here for you. So, but I can, I just tell you that there's this, you got to be proactive when you're talking about safety in your car, and always have your cell phone, because you never know, you're going to need it,
and a charger, or if the car comes with the charger, that's even
right. And a blanket. I keep a blanket in my car sometimes for shock too. You need to have things like that in your car. So I'm going to leave you with an acronym. Are you ready?
Yes. Yes.
D is for decision. E is for education. Research, research, research. A is analytical. Look at the numbers, crunch them, look at them, analyze them. And L is for loan. Get your own loan if you can. Check out the credit union or go with the loan there, but know what your loan, how long your loan is and what interest rate and all of that. So deal, DEAL. That's what you want to think about when you go into the dealership. And that is going to give you the best.
Awesome. I love that.
So I'm glad yeah. So do we have any more questions or?
Anybody have any questions for Elena before we let her go? Bernice is saying, let me put it up there. She's giving you props.
Oh, okay. Right. She was not prepared. Right. And then she purchased the Honda. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you, Bernice. Thank you. That was awesome. Yes.
I agree. Lots of awesome information and a great job. And I was so happy to have you on here.
Also happy to
quite a few other things too. She wrote a children's book, and she's also a Mary Kay consultant, which I've been using her stuff. Ooh, I love it. But you know, maybe we can come back later and talk. I know you wanted to talk about that. That's very, you know, a personal subject for you. So if you'd like to come back and talk about that, just let me know. And
celiac disease, because next month is Celiac Awareness Day.
Right.
So it would be, yeah, since I have celiac disease. So, and I wrote a children's book about it. So, yeah. So that would be awesome. Yeah. But I really enjoyed, you know, being with you guys today. And, you know, and thank you for, you know, having me on your show, Barbara. Barbara, I think it's an awesome thing what you're doing. Age is not a factor. You can do anything you want in your life if you just put your mind to it. And, you know, and just age is just like I always say, age is just a number. Okay. And you can do anything you want to do. And I think that what you're doing right now with the show is just awesome and helping so many people in so many areas.
Thank you. I was very excited for you to be on here, and I'm so happy that you shared with our viewers about all this, because some of it is so enlightening, and I truly was happy to have you on here.
Well, I'm happy to be here. So yeah, I'm happy we found each other.
I know.
On Facebook, and I don't even remember how it was, but it was on Facebook, you know. So, but you have some awesome guests too that are going to be coming up. So I'm really excited about, you know, and I've been telling a lot of people about your, you know, age is not a factor, because it is a factor. I mean, I retired three years ago as a teacher, and I'm just turning the page. It's just turn the page, you know, and just go to another chapter in your life. Go, you know, I moved from New Jersey to South Carolina. That was a big thing to do, but you know what? Change is exhilarating and it's fun. You just have to go with it, because when you're not changing, you're stagnant. When you're stagnant, you're not growing.
Exactly.
You're not growing.
Change is a good thing.
It is. I love it.
Okay. Well, if nobody has any more questions, I'm going to let Elena go. And again, thank you. I hope your listeners enjoyed Elena as much as I do. I think she's fantastic, and I love her. Gosh, she has just got this go-getter attitude, and it's very refreshing. So bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching us. Thanks.
Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
Bye.